Horror Fam, the HHN 365, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. My name is Duff, and as always, I'm here with my co-hosts Jess and Jonathan.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello there.
The H is for her.
All right. So, hey, we're HHN 365. You can follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram at HHN 365, and on TikTok at HHN 365 Pod. Join our Discord. That link's in the description. It's HHN 365's Horror Fam. Check out our merch line at hhn365.com and leave us a voicemail at 407-906-4134. And on today's show, well, we're talking about a lot, actually. The main thing is some clues have been cracked, and I think we know some things that are coming to HHN 32 / HHN 2023 in Hollywood, potentially. We'll get to that. Before we get into the news and rumors, though, we have talked to you about HHN 36 Live, which is our live stream on TikTok. Our second one ever was going to be on February 19th, which was a Sunday. We're actually going to move that back to Saturday the 18th, starting at noon Eastern. So if you want to join us, whether that's in person or on TikTok, Saturday the 18th of February at noon Eastern is when you could do that.
I have a shirt. One shirt. Maybe one shirt. We definitely have the stickers we promised. So if you find us during the live, you can get an exclusive sticker. If you find us before or after, I'm sorry. You will not be getting it, but gotta find us during.
If you want a special 36 Live sticker, you got one chance. Well, you got one chance a month.
Yeah.
I guess.
They're exclusive.
Anyways, news and rumors. So the first thing we can knock out that I know you guys hate because I got shit talked on it last time I brought them up is house permits, specifically for Orlando. That's going to be Soundstage 24, both A and B. That's where Dead Man's Pier and Fiesta de Chupacabra was last year. And Soundstage 23A, which was Hell Block Horror, HHHHHHHH in the chat, was last year. For your reference. So those have been filed, the first ones. So work is going to start or has started at this point in those locations. Fast and Furious, fun stuff. They got, just like last year, just picture how it was last year. They put the tarps up in that queue area where the house started, and that's happening again. So it's getting blocked off again. So that work's already starting. So we're seeing a good amount of work being started throughout the park, which is fun. Well, we aren't seeing it in the sound stages, but we know it's happening. And the really fun stuff, which Jonathan, if you want to take, because you were on the ball with this.
Yes. Are we talking about what we think we're talking about?
Legacy clues.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that stuff.
All right. So actually, we haven't talked about it before because they just sort of popped up this week. If you guys don't know, Legacy released 2 clues. The third one was released after the other 2 clues have been solved. But they were 2 clues with a bunch of flags of different countries and zeros, just the number 0. And the goal of the clues was if you solve it, you will get the answer to what a potential house will be for HHN 32 and possibly Hollywood as well. And well, we solved it. Not us in particular, but our Discord server, the HHN 365's Horror Fam, and the Halloween Horror Nights Reddit server worked together in order to help solve these clues and get the answers to them. And the answers, how to get the answers was kind of interesting. You see, they used the first letter of each country that was on the flags, and they got a number. Once they got that number, they plugged all the numbers in, including the zeros, and it made an ISBN number that led them to specific books. I hope that makes sense to you guys listening out there. But the first book that one of the clues led to was a book called Gemstones, Elves, and Other, here we go, get ready, Insidious Magic, which leads us to believe that is related to Insidious. But there is one more special part about this book, and it is that the author's first name, is Megan. So the answer, while Legacy hasn't specifically said if what the exact answer if it was right or not, but the clue was absolutely right. It leads us to believe that the answer here is the Horrors of Blumhouse, featuring Insidious and Megan. And before we get to the next clue, how do we feel about that?
I mean, I will say when we were talking predictions earlier, that was my exact guess for a Blumhouse house. So feeling good, feeling good. And also, if I had to pick any two Blumhouse properties that would be relevant this year, those are literally the two. So I cannot be mad at all.
Yeah, I mean, Blumhouse last year was surprising. So I think we're out of the whole, oh, Blumhouse houses are shit era. So I'm curious because I really liked Megan. We talked about that. So we'll see. I'm surprised we cracked that code, or people in the Discord's cracked the code.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane how fast everyone got worked together and got the answers to them. Once again, if you want to join our server, Agent 365 Horror Fam, the link is in the description. And Halloween Horror Nights Reddit is another great server to join as well. We all work together to help solve these clues, and we got a lot more clues to solve in the future. So make sure to join us to help us solve them even faster, because I'm sure the clues are going to just get harder and harder as time goes on.
And by we, Jonathan means people in our server, not us at all.
Yes, not us.
We saw it happen. That's all.
Yeah, we were cheering them on, going, we're like the moms who were like supplying orange slices as they were like Googling their little fingers away. So was not us. Cannot take credit.
Absolutely not. But we did give, in addition to cheering, we posted a lot of H emojis to really encourage people.
Oh, yeah. And that is
those
really
are the
where
orange
we
slices.
Yeah. We don't have a budget for orange slices, but we do have H emojis.
Exactly. Come join our server just to see the H emoji. But in terms of how I feel about this, I think this is a really cool idea for a Blumhouse house. I think both properties would work great in the fact that one is going to, they're both different tones. I haven't seen, I'm sure this is going to be based on the new Insidious coming out this year. And while I haven't seen it, I assume it's pretty dark in comparison to Megan, that it's the completely stupid comedy horror that's just stupid in a good way. It's a really fun movie.
Look how that worked last year.
It did work. Kind of. I know people didn't love the freaky section.
Yeah,
mainly you.
Yeah.
But I think it can work. I especially with, we've all seen Megan and we've talked about it before on the show, how it can make for a good half a house. And I'm sure Insidious has worked well in the past. I'm sure Insidious will be pretty good as well.
I have a question.
I'm ready.
Guys. So, last year, one half was better on each coast. Which half do you think Orlando's going to nail, and which half do you think Hollywood's going to nail?
I'm going to say that it's going to kind of flip this time.
Oh.
If any is going to be flipped at all. Orlando will do the comedy house better in Megan. And Hollywood's going to nail Insidious better. But if I really had to guess, I'd say Orlando just nails both better. But that's just, preconceived notions from past experiences outside of that specific house.
I'm interested if Hollywood's use of space, because Hollywood has some big rooms, could help a lot with Megan, though. Because when I think of Megan, one of the main things I think of is just like the dance scene. If you have like a lot of space in a room and you can just have like a section to the side where she's just like doing the dance the entire time, like I wonder if that could...
Do you need a lot of room for her to do that, though?
That poor
You need a lot of space probably between scare actor and guest for that type of thing.
I mean, she's not going to be doing the aerial. She's not going to be doing the no-handed cartwheel.
Not the aerial.
Most of her moves aren't really like taking.
She's just doing body rolls, and as I'm doing it as we're talking here. Nobody can see it, but I'm doing body rolls now. Everybody, do your body rolls for Megan.
I'm hitting it.
That's going to be the house. We're all just going to be body rolling. I don't think you need a lot of room. I mean, I don't think spoilers matter at this point. If she has a fucking paper cutter in her hand, I'd rather her be all up in my business dancing.
That's true. That's true. I don't know. I have this weird feeling that Megan's gonna work better in
Hmm.
Hollywood, but I could be completely wrong, and they could flip, or both coasts, want to have. I mean, like Duff said, both properties could be just done better here or done better in Hollywood. Doesn't necessarily have to be an either or type thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think Orlando's gonna kill Megan, like in the best ways. It feels Orlando, and I don't know how to explain it beyond that.
I get what you
I'll,
mean. I can't think of an immediate example, but I get what you mean.
Hmm. It's like
I ha-
just dumb enough.
Slaughter cinema.
Right.
so I haven't seen Insidious at any event in the past, but have you guys? And if so, like, what did you think of it?
My first year, what Insidious was it part of that Blumhouse?
Yes.
Yeah, I just remember Sinister because I really liked that part of the house. I really didn't remember anything past that. I just remember the red faced demon terrifies me. I don't know if he's still relevant, but that guy's scary, and I know he was in the house in 27. But even then, Blumhouse was like mid. So I'm curious to see a new take and the new movie when it comes out.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, I mean, obviously, 25s is very highly regarded as like mainly a terrifying house.
Hmm.
And 27, I guess maybe that's more of what we can look to as what it would be, because it was a mashup house as well. But again, it depends what take they go for, um, because it was a mashup of the property as well, and not just one film. So maybe this time they just go for the newest installment rather than
Hmm.
mashing it up. I don't know. So it depends. That'll change things a lot, I'd say. And who knows what we're about to see in the newest installment as well.
Absolutely. And so we're on to our next rumor here that I think, well, not rumor, answer to Legacy's clue that I think is really interesting because it's one that really, we were thinking about kind of, but this is one that's sort of popped out of that wasn't really on my radar. And the name of the book is The Last Vampire Phantom. So the answer to the clue is something involving vampire, so Dracula, and Phantom, so Phantom of the Opera. So some sort of mashup between Dracula and Phantom, or versus Dracula versus Phantom, something of the sort will be likely. I mean, things always change, especially. I remember last year there was a lot of confusion on what the Monsters House actually was until it was announced. But as for right now, the possible Monsters House this year has to do with Dracula and the Phantom, most likely for both coasts. And how do we feel about that?
I'm just gonna
Mm,
take this win though because Duff took the
Yes.
last one. I said Phantom on predictions. I didn't say Dracula because this bitch has had so much fucking time. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about this and this reveal. I want Phantom to have the whole house. I want it to be in the opera house. I don't care if Dracula's there or not. I just want the sets. It's gonna be so good. I feel like it's gonna beat Monsters if it's Phantom set in Paris. I know that's a bold claim. Or Monsters from 2022. Words are hard. Legends Collide. There we go. I feel like if they do the sets and they do it in a big enough space, and they will, Phantom is gonna kill it.
I
y-
completely agree.
yeah.
This is actually, I think Phantom was on both of our lists
Mhm.
for that episode, and
Shared win right there.
third win. There we go. Def got one, we got one. Look at that. But yeah, I mean, let me avoid Dracula for a minute. I think Phantom getting a house is amazing. As much as we wanted it, I never thought it would actually happen because I don't know. I never expected him to use Phantom for one of these houses, like in terms of like having a half, like like a whole house based on him. I know Universal Monsters had that segment, but I was expecting that's all we were going to get from the Phantom. Maybe in something in that vein, but not as big as this. So really happy about Phantom getting the spotlight here. I'm not happy, like you, Jess, about Dracula getting the spotlight. I don't think he needs to be in another Universal Monster House. We've talked about this before. We've had him for obviously 29 when everybody was there. We also had him for, well, not him, but we had vampires, Dracula's brides in Bride of Frankenstein. We had Dracula in Legends Collide, and now we have Dracula possibly again, and it's a lot. I do think these two monsters could, like, I could see them both fitting in the same setting. Dracula and Phantom could have a, I don't know, kind of feel similar in a way. So I get why maybe these two would be paired together. I don't think we need Dracula, but I don't care as much because I'll take Phantom anyway. Any way I can get him.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much feel the same way as everyone else here, in that do we need Dracula? But I kind of want to just hold off on that a bit because we said the same thing about last year's Versus House. It's like, oh,
Hmm.
it's too much. I think the only difference is that this time it's like, okay, it's too much Dracula specifically.
Hmm.
He's been involved in some way in every version, if this is true, of the new like Monsters universe at HHN. And it's like, okay, why? I get it. He's Dracula, probably the biggest monster by name. I get it, but I don't need to see him again. I really don't. I'll just trust that the story might knock it out. I think the sets will be phenomenal. I get that the vibes of Phantom and Dracula fit. I'll have concerns about it, but I'm gonna hold off fully on it until I see something, and then
Hmm.
I'll kind of get worried or get excited depending. But I do have concerns for now about just Dracula fatigue.
Yeah, I also like I know that there were those permits or whatever for it was like a
Oh
phantom walk
yeah.
around character. I know that has nothing to do with this, but it's interesting that, that was filed the same year that we're, most likely getting a phantom house.
Hmm.
So, I don't know. I'm excited because like I said, those sets and they could do some fun things like with a chandelier, obviously, simulating falling and more than they did in 29 where it was already like crashed. I'm so excited. I really am.
Well,
I
that's
think the Phantom aspect could be absolutely phenomenal. I think what the small glimpse we got at 29 showed what they can do with that property. So,
Oh yeah.
whole house, let's go.
well,
Oh my god.
that's the important thing, right? Because obviously Legends Collide, the main focus was Mummy, the setting was Mummy. All the other monsters were there, but it was very much a Mummy house featuring Wolfman and Dracula. We
Hmm.
are under the assumption that this is going to be a Phantom House featuring Dracula. Like the whole setting will be Phantom Opera House. What if they go the Dracula route, which I don't think would make much sense.
Please
But what
don't.
if it
Don't
is
put that in.
more like
Don't put that in the air. I don't.
Why you
I
do
don't want
that?
that. Nobody wants that, Jonathan. Let's not talk about it.
Dude, I don't want that. It's a possibility. I don't think it makes much sense because I mean, Phantom lives under the Opera House, so why would it be anywhere else? But it's very much a possibility that maybe they mix the two because I don't like I want Phantom a lot. I haven't watched the movie though, so like that's a big problem. But isn't there like a river under the Opera House? Like maybe it can connect to something involving Dracula like through that way.
Oh yeah, there's like
Jonathan,
tunnels and everything underneath. Yeah.
I'm gonna request you stop talking because I don't like where you're going with this.
Oh,
Don't make sense of
Jonathan.
it happening.
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that for now.
Just for that, when we're walking through the Phantom House this year, I'm just gonna be singing poorly. I'm gonna get Marianne on this too. We're gonna be screaming the Phantom of the Opera music from the musical in
See,
your ear.
I feel like you do that anyways, though.
I
But what if you
probably would
sang the music
regardless.
from Grease 2?
Say less. And then I could sing Love Never Dies, the Phantom sequel. Full circle. Oh, Jonathan, you're going to get the full experience and Duff too, just because you'll be there. Um,
Yay.
I'm getting Marion on it. If you want to join us during HHN this year for the Grease 2 Love Never Dies sing along walkthrough,
Feel free to say no. It's okay. You don't have to show up and do this.
I think it would be great.
And the last clue, which was released after the other two were solved was led to a book called Child's Play, the novel, which is obviously just talking about the first house that we have announced for both Hollywood and Orlando, which is the Chucky TV series. So those are our three clues for now. We're going to get more in the future. We will let you guys know on the podcast when they have been solved or when there's a new clue out and everything like that. But once again, I know I'm pushing this a lot, but if you want to help solve the clues with us and figure out when they're solved before really anybody else, you can join the HHN 365 Discord called HHN 365's Horror Fam in the link in the description.
Yeah, I like
Who's
that the
very
Chucky
active.
one. I like that the Chucky one was done as like a, all right, you bastards figured it out. Here you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Confirm yourselves. I
Yeah.
really did like that. I really think that they might change the clue format now, right? Or you think they're just going to give it to us?
So last year, the main idea was the same. It everything led to an American Dad episode that was the answer to the clue.
Mhm.
Just the way you solved it was different. There were more things added to the clue. Think of
Okay.
it like I know we talked about before in previous episodes, like with no spoilers, obviously, a Universal great movie escape room game where every time you solve a puzzle correctly, it just gets a little harder in a different way.
Right.
Um, it's kind of at least that's how it was like last year. So I'm assuming that I could be wrong, but I'm assuming that all the clues are going to still be books. It's just going to be a little harder to get to the answers.
Well, that's exciting. I'm never going to figure them out. So go
So,
Discord.
yeah, it was a tough one. Well, I mean, only took like 2 days, but I thought it was tough.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're wondering about the legitimacy of these legacy clues, um, once Legacy puts out a clue, it's basically a done deal. 99%, it's coming.
Yeah. So,
So there you go.
All right. So shall we move on to HHN on the other coast?
sure.
Well, of course, John Murdy's talking as he typically does and gives away some stuff, which I always enjoy. I love the transparency; it's great. First of all, you may be aware of password mazes that have existed in Hollywood. Um, he doesn't know if they're going to return. He's come out and said that it's a possibility they don't. Uh, what do you think, Jonathan? I know that's something that you're really into.
What is it? I'm
That whole
sorry.
concept. What do you think?
Yeah, I never got to experience it, unfortunately, because the first year I went to Hollywood was in 2021, and that's when they stopped doing the password mazes due to COVID, high touch stuff. And John Murdy said the same thing when responding to someone recently when they asked if password mazes would return, and well, the answer was still the same. It was probably not because of the high touch component to it all. I wish that it did return. I thought that that the idea of interacting with your HHN fans on Twitter by giving out a password and then getting something special out of it, like a little card or something, is just a cool interactive element that not a lot of other haunts have. And I know that Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 2021 was supposed to have it with the hitchhiker. He was supposed to give you, I think, a picture if you set a password, but that was cut obviously due to COVID. But yeah, I wish they came back, but I also completely understand why it probably doesn't make sense to bring them back yet.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it has to be something beyond that, though, right? I think clearly they've shown they aren't worried too much about COVID and that impact anymore, and the whole thing with COVID really not being a contact issue. Anyways, I do wonder if it's just more. Is it a budgeting thing, or are they not receiving budget to create something that means that little to the guest experience? Is it like a waste
Mm.
of money kind of deal?
I can't like it. I agree that it could be something else to it. might not be high touch uh, scenario, or like just that reason, but also all they're giving to the guests from what I've seen before are just little cards.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing crazy. I'm sure it's a cost for sure, but I doubt it would be anything that would. I don't think the cost would be anything that would sway them to keep it one way or another, because I'm sure the cost is. I'm sure it's really not that much to make.
No, I mean it's not a lot to make, but everything kind of has to receive its separate budgeting, right? Is that just something that they thought would be easy to cut and make look a little bit better financially? I
Mm.
don't know.
It's very
Just
possible.
like a small cut to help a little bit, and you know, it's all about optics and finances and how you spend the money. So does it look more responsible not to spend it on stuff like that? Receive budgeting elsewhere? I don't know. I'm just saying because like everything else about the parks right now, they don't seem to give a shit about that. So it would
Hmm.
seem weird that this one specific little thing and suddenly COVID is still the issue for them.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It is very strange, but who knows? Maybe they will return in the future because I want them to. I want
Oh, I
weekend.
would love it. I think that was one of the great touches Hollywood had.
Absolutely. I want, if we get like a future weekend house or something like that, he can give me like a frog and be like, "Here you go.
Oh my
Now
god.
you will join
Shut
this journey."
I mean, John, you did get a taste of it when you were closing out TCM on this coast, though.
I did actually. You just reminded me. Yeah, I haven't talked about it on this podcast, but on the last night of Texas of HHN 30, I closed out Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I didn't close it out, but I was close to the end. And before I went in the house, they gave me a little card. Um, I don't have it here with me right now, but it was a card that was basically an advertisement for Sawyer's Barbecue, and had a little number. At the end, it had 2021 on it. It was just a fun little thing, and it means a lot. I know that it's a cost. Like bringing this back to Hollywood, it's a cost, and it's it's probably easy to be cut, but for me at least, getting that souvenir that that is connected to the house and connecting to my memories of the house just made the house all the more special, especially that last run. It helped me connect a lot more emotionally to it, and having a have even though it wasn't something in the house, I think it's like comparable to like having some like a piece of the house in a way, like with me, like at home, during the off season, having that
Hmm.
memory is something really special that can't be recreated, and that's why I want password mazes to continue, because I think that would be really cool for people to get those items.
Yeah, if I had something like that from Wicked Growth, Graveyard Games, any of my favorite houses of all time, that would definitely mean a lot and feel really
Walk out
special.
with one of the kid mannequins from Graveyard Games. Pick it up and throw it
uh,
over your shoulder.
Sir, where are you going? Don't worry about it.
I'm taking the glowing mother. I don't know about you, but I do think that it probably got cut because of cost. Because I know that, like, I don't know about every year, but I know at one point, didn't they change like weekly? Like the card would say something different in Hollywood and the password would change, or am I making that up? I feel like I would see on vlogs.
I am not sure. I've never got
Whatever.
to experience it. Don't know I
But
followed it that tightly, but yeah.
let's say that it did or it didn't. But if it did, like someone has to design every card. So you're paying someone to design it, then you have to make it, and then you have to cut it, and then you have to like do whatever, and someone has to hand it out. And there's probably already somebody there, but you got to talk to them about it. And now there's all these lines of business. So it probably did come down to like what you said, Duff. Just like it's really easy to cut that fat off when you are trying to cut costs, especially after the pandemic.
Mm.
So as much as like the high contact probably isn't like something they're worried about, it really could still just be an effect of COVID.
Yeah, I guess COVID effect potentially, but maybe not in the
Like cutbacks is what
direct
I mean. Yeah.
sense. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
At least if that was just if it was a cut for mostly cost, at least that they are investing the money that they have saved from the from cutting that to their houses, because last year we saw a significant increase in quality of facades and lots of time quality of sets in the houses. You can see that like more money was put into the event last year, and I'm really hoping that trend continues because I think that extra investment really helped make last year a really good year for Hollywood.
Yeah.
And if anything, Orlando, it's great. You should try it. Love it.
Yes, absolutely. You know how awesome that would be? Like have one maybe like either you could do the way of having a Twitter password, or you could even just at the end of the night have every house give out something for the guest who decide to close it out, because you only get to close out one house, and it really
Hmm.
stinks when you're closing out the house. I mean, in the end, you're closing out the house that you cared about the most, so it doesn't stink that much. But it stinks when you're closing out one house, and then it's like, oh, but Blumhouse, the grabber in the chair was a real
He was
person.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he scared people. It's like that's
Mhm.
cool. I wish that every house had something special that happened those last couple moments. I mean, I know Legends Collide. It wasn't necessarily closing, but it had a like you guys saw a Dr. Seuss mummy.
Not
Mm.
us, but the
No.
people behind us did. We were
Oh,
running to the weekend.
Yeah, I don't know
Uh,
how we missed it, but
it was literally right after us because it was the closing. Last couple of people saw it, but I don't
and
know, man.
and
Orlando,
that one also apparently wasn't permitted by Universal. So
oh.
whatever. Let them have fun. They did the damn work, especially during 2 hurricanes. Leave them
oh,
alone.
I mean, hey, listen, I agree. They should. But point being, I never get the one that does it. I never close with the one that does something,
No,
and sometimes it's a few of them. It's just never my luck.
we
I never get to
missed
see the fun.
we missed Keaton by seconds last year, 2 years
Yeah.
ago with Icons when he was
Yeah.
on the throne. Seconds, like he was in the house and he had just gotten off, and I was like, "Fuck." But I don't think Orlando could ever do like giving something out because I'm sorry, and I mean this with love, the fans would ruin it in a day.
Hmm.
Mm, I mean, I don't know, because, like, for example, Hollywood would do it. If you go back to Ghostbusters, you simply had the keymaster out front. You gave him the
Yeah.
password. You had to say the password, and he gave you something. I mean, I don't
Okay.
know how that could be ruined.
If you don't know the password and you just see someone else get something and you start harassing a scare actor because you don't know what's going on.
You don't think that happens in Hollywood?
I mean, I think it does, but
You think
is
their guests
Hollywood?
are, like, great or something?
No, I don't think they're great. I've been there. Uh,
In fact, I'd argue they're worse. No offense, Hollywood, because it's like locals more. I think there's more frequent local visitors in Orlando, which I think makes it more chill. It's a lot of locals there who are like there for a night or
it,
two, and
nobody moves there. That's my biggest complaint. Nobody moves in Hollywood at any of the theme parks. Everybody just stands in the middle of walkways. Orlando is go, go, go. Hollywood is stop.
all right, we don't need to
Moving
go
on.
there. Anyways,
Yeah.
back to other Hollywood stuff. He also started that construction has started with Curious George going up first. As you know, those have been the tents that have been popping up the past couple of years there. They are also working on specialty art pieces for more than one house. Think back to like the Bride of Frankenstein Lives book pages that you would have seen in that house, or at the time, Maze. Sorry.
Ooh.
And then apparently, in one of the house treatments, they have also changed a male character to a female character, per John Murdy.
And this is why I feel like that specific detail is interesting, because I don't think you can do that in an IP house. Maybe there's like a extra character that isn't really, like that's not really in the movie. Maybe it's just like some side person, that you can play around with. But to me, I'm sure it's expected, but to me that screams original house, because you can do whatever you want with an original house. So yeah,
Or monsters.
Mm.
monsters too.
That's the first thing that pops in my head is monsters. I mean, they had that whole Scream Queen scare zone where it was like the
Hmm.
female and the daughters and whatever. And like, who's to say their Dracula Phantom House isn't, a female Dracula? versus Phantom, and like that's like a Christine kind of a thing.
Or a
That could be
female
cool.
Phantom?
We've had enough Draculas. I think that Dracula could be a lady. The thing is, I just want to see Phantom in like a tall ass scary Phantom, and not to say that couldn't be a female presenting actors, but I don't know. We'll see. Interesting.
The specialty art pieces really excites me too, because I didn't love the way the transitions were in their Bride of Frankenstein Lives house, but I love the way the pages look. They were beautiful. I mean, the facade art was beautiful, and the pages were beautiful. So I'd love to see more. I mean, we're going to apparently, according to this tweet, but I can't wait to see more specialty art like that. That sounds really cool.
I mean, I'll definitely take those over the alternative of transitions in Hollywood. So,
Yeah. Yeah, if the Bride of Frankenstein Lives transition scene was 100% better than the Legends Collide transition scene.
Legends.
anyways, let's move back to this coast, but to another park. Well, we're really jumping around because we're going to go back as well. Anyways, Hello Scream Orlando. Pretty simple here. They posted their dates for 2023. That's going to be September 9th through October 31st. Let's see if they add a house, switch a house, do something to get better instead of worse like they did in the previous year. Wow. You guys are so ecstatic to talk about Hello Scream Orlando. Going back to the West Coast. No, go ahead, Jonathan.
No. I didn't actually attend last year's Hollow Scream. I did the.
That's okay.
I went.
That's
I
why
went
I
to
didn't speak.
I went to the first one when the inaugural year. So I am very interested to see what happens this year. What houses stay? What houses change? If there's additions, if they add more rides. So I am very interested to see what we get for this year.
Yeah. I hope we don't go back to that bookstore house.
Seeing as it was literally built last year, I guarantee we do, Jess.
I hope we don't go back to that bookstore house. And
I mean, we don't have to.
But... No, but if we do, I hope the tents have their shit figured out this year. And if you listen to that episode when we dropped it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I liked Hollow Scream the first year. Last year was not my favorite. But you know, they could just come out of nowhere again with a really great event. I'm probably still gonna check it out, probably with a single night.
If they give that good deal again, I'll definitely get the pass because it's so cheap.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth it for Monster Stomp.
I mean, we went, like 4 times?
Yeah, just walked around half the time because some of the houses were so long and their ops are non-existent. So that it's more that. I really hope that the new coaster that's opening will be open because they weirdly don't have anything open during
Pipeline.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's just weird that I know they don't use those sides of the park, but it is weird that the 2 of the coasters aren't open, I believe. 3 of them. I don't know how many coasters.
If I get to ride a surf coaster next to like a werewolf, that'd be great.
A werewolf will ride with you.
That's all I want.
Oh wait, can I ride with one of the people from that one zone?
Cargo?
Yeah.
Cargo.
The one I shit on until we walked through it the first time. The more I think about the fact that the bookstore house was back there, I think it's making sense now.
I mean, the sounds in it, maybe, but otherwise, no.
That's what I'm talking
really.
about. No. I don't. Fuck the rest of it. But the sounds, the tents. I think the tents make sense.
It's probably the first there were scares when I walked through where instead of like a legit jump scare, they moaned in my ear. So
yeah, and like oh, Jonathan, yeah, like Cargo Carnage last year. I shit on it leading up to the whole event because come on, and then we walk in and it was like kinky.
Yeah, however horny you think Nightmare Fuel is, no, think bigger.
They were like dropping it low in front of like Eugene, and Eugene was like, "I'm married, stop it," and I was like, "Baby, it's fine, enjoy it." He's like, "No." It was an experience anytime we walk through.
Okay.
Yeah. Cargo Carnage. I hope that one makes a return, actually. That and then the sexy siren striptease show where they
Mm.
pull the boyfriend out of the crowd.
Now let's go back to California in a much less horny park, which is Knott's.
That
Woo!
transition,
I mean,
though.
this part it makes me horny, but it's not a horny park.
Woo!
Not
Best
Scary
park.
Farm.
Best park
Bad.
is best park.
Actually, I'm not horny because this is bad news. They had
Oh.
originally announced, like Knott's themselves had announced that their opening night would be September 14th. They have pushed that back a week to September 21st. So while we thought we were going to get another week of Scary Farm, not happening.
No. It's sad, and it's the 50th, so you thought they would want to do an extra weekend.
Yeah, I don't. I really wonder why. Like, I feel like they probably like they wouldn't have issues selling tickets, right?
No.
They would have
You
only
gotta,
made more money. And I don't know how they'd already be thinking like, oh, we're going to be behind schedule at this point. I don't know. Unless there's some events or things that are going to take up space. I don't know.
we gotta get an answer out of them next month.
Yo, Knots,
Like,
what's up?
hey, we're gonna show up at the front gate and just be like, hey, we just want to talk.
This boysenberry pie is great, but also, what the fuck?
What the fuck is up, dude? I'm so
You gotta
excited
say
for
that while
Knott's.
holding a slice
While
of boysenberry pie.
while holding like a buffalo wing in boysenberry sauce.
I'm getting more boysenberry hot sauce. I don't know about you, Duff, but that is like the
Oh,
one thing I can't stop thinking about.
that shit slaps.
It's so good.
Nuts. Can you also make a spicier version of your boysenberry hot
Actual
sauce?
hot sauce,
Because
please.
that'd be great. It already is great, but that would be like phenomenal
Someone needs to make wings with that.
with the spicier one.
I don't care.
Well, we can make it spicier ourselves, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
let's try that. TikTok?
Ooh. Yes.
Deal. And I guess that's kind of it for news and rumors. But we do have a few things to talk about today. The first one I kind of want to pass over to you guys before I chime in. Mardi Gras update, because I know you guys didn't have the greatest experience opening weekend, and you talked about it on the show. So I want to hear what you guys have to say as an update before I give any opinions on Mardi Gras 2023.
Oh boy. Well, last week, if you listened, I'm so sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry for how hard we went in on Mardi Gras. It was just a lot. It was opening day, but we've been quite a few times since then. I have not gone back on the weekend, but I went multiple times last week and then, today as well. Uh, they are operating much more efficiently. I did not have to wait long for food. I do know Saturday, I believe, there was some issues with food running out. Duff can confirm or deny that, but yeah. So it's definitely gotten better. The parade is fun. I do not think it's better than last year's. I'm sorry, but now that I'm not so angry and annoyed, I do think it's a fun time. And if you can make it out to Mardi Gras.
Mhm.
Yeah, I completely agree. Basically, everything Jess said. I only had one item of food. I don't remember what it was called, but it was something with fried rice, and it was good. I liked it. It was like $6. It was good. The lines were okay. The parade, I once again agree with Jess. I like the space one better. I thought the space one had some better floats, but these floats aren't bad. I mean, it has a very
No, no.
scary Tracy tree.
The tree cannot hurt you, Jonathan.
You
I need you to
underestimate
Debatable.
understand.
Debatable.
you underestimate the power of that tree.
Oh my
But
gosh.
yeah, I mean, I think that the diversity of food options, the amount we have, I think I said in the last episode, but it's a lot more. It seems a lot different than last year, which I love because I feel like the past 2 years, before this, felt like it was serving mostly the same items. This year feels mostly, besides the stuff you expect at Mardi Gras, like a completely different menu, at least from what I'm noticing, which I think is great. I can't wait to try out more food. I do think it does look a little expensive, so getting that food and beverage card, depending on if you're an annual pass holder, there's a one. I think it's one pay $120 to get $150 worth
Mhm.
of food, and for non-annual pass holders, is it 80 for 90?
No, I think it's something for 75.
something. It's not as good as a deal,
I think it's
but
60 for 75, but
That
I
sounds
could
right.
be
Yeah,
wrong.
I think you're right. That sounds right.
well,
Yeah.
there we go. 60 for 75. You're not saving as much money as the annual pass holder version, but you're still saving, $15 or so, which is really good. So if you're planning on
I
spending a
mean,
lot in Mardi Gras, those aren't bad options as long.
technically, by dollar, you're saving the same amount.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
well,
could be
It
wrong on
literally,
that number.
if that's correct, literally, that's just the same, like per dollar amount, just in a lesser. So you could buy two, and it's the same thing.
oh,
Maybe it's
yeah.
65 for 75.
Maybe that's it. Because I feel
I
like
have
it would
it
be a
here.
better deal for APs, right? Not just you got to give us more money if you want it.
All of your money.
We tricked you. We said it was annual pass holder, so now you
It's
want to.
65 for
Okay,
75. Yeah.
so
I found it.
it's a not not a terrible deal, especially if you do multiple of them, but it's not as good
Mhm.
as AP, of course. So if you're an AP, take advantage. I went through my 150 like it was fucking nothing,
Same. And
and
then
then
you
accidentally
tossed.
threw it in the bead tree.
Oh, that is one thing. The bead tree security was only their opening night that I saw. I have not seen them there since.
I wonder if it was just kind of if there was an incident, just kind of them investigating what happened, how it happened, and then assessing like, oh, it's okay,
Okay, yeah, probably.
maybe something like that. Just while they looked into it,
Yeah, the trees are full of beads, and they're throwing them, and the
or
parade
them
is
just
fun.
realizing one security guard can't stop us all. So what's
No,
the
the
point?
tree down further on like the Spider-Man garage is also covered in
Oh,
beads, so they
I
wouldn't stop.
that one has been covered for at least a year, and I think maybe
Oh,
even
I
two.
missed that.
Yeah, it's been that way. They just
I
have
don't pay
not. They've
attention.
not cleaned that one off.
I'm so observant. Um,
So that's
yeah.
why that one is like slammed with beads because it's just been
Mm,
packed for a while. Um, but yeah, I finally made it out to Mardi Gras. I've been like 5 times now. I say finally, but obviously I didn't go opening weekend. Um, and I luckily have not experienced what you guys did opening weekend. I know on Saturday supposedly there were some food items out. I never personally came across that, so I can't fully comment. I do think aesthetically and thematically, last year's was a bit better.
mhm.
I thought the space theme was pretty out there, and it ended up working really well. Um, but it's still a decent looking year overall. What I do think is an improvement is the food and drinks, where I feel like in 2020, our short-lived Mardi Gras, they really took a step forward in food and drink, and then the following years we had taken a step back. Now we're starting
Mhm.
to get back to that 2020 level, and the food items I've had have been pretty great. The drink options, not only cocktails but beer, mead. If you're a mead fan, that's out there for you. Plentiful options. So I think they've taken a step forward in that department. And to be fair, that's probably more important than anything else for an event like this. It is really just a festival at this point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. As far as someone who's a local and goes quite frequently, I think they're doing more to bring me back. So good for them.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we've been, like you said, like 5 times now. I've only ridden like one ride out of all those trips and just walk
Hmm.
around, drink, talk, and honestly plan the show. That's where we do all of our planning. So
It's true.
it's at Mardi Gras.
Important
Also,
business.
if you get
Yeah.
that picanha steak from Brazil when it's cooked medium rare, baby,
No,
they
the
got to
the
cook it right.
cochina.
But when it's that way, oh my god, the coxinha is good. I
Hmm.
mean, Brazil's great. Brazil's just great.
Yeah. The Coco Loco in
Oh,
Colombia.
Colombia.
The beverage there, I our friend Chris talks about it, and I did not believe him. It tastes like the most delicious key lime pie beverage.
Hmm.
It's refreshing. I think that's my new favorite, which sucks because now I gotta go like all the way in the back over there. Well, I say all the way in the back, but like over by animal actors. But there was a line, people waiting to meet a dog. I had to fight them for the drink, but it was so good.
That is a delicious drink, and there's plenty of them. There's really
Yeah.
plenty of them this year, and it's great to see. Except that Paloma. I don't know what the fuck's going
Oh,
on. The
I forgot
grapefruit
about that.
Paloma. Jesus
It was
Christ!
so
It's
salty.
just salt. It's salt.
That's not what a Paloma tastes
It
like.
hurt my mouth, like legitimately. I'm not lying. I drank half of it.
Yeah.
Eugene chugged the rest for me. Thank you, Eugene. Because I couldn't do it. Like my tongue was like it just like felt like I poured salt directly on my tongue. Like it was
Yeah, I
going
couldn't do
numb.
it.
And not in the good
I-
kind of numb, like when I eat like salt and vinegar, like bad kind of numb when it's just pure salt.
yeah, I couldn't. Anytime I had anything salty for the rest of the day, everything would taste bad because it would just taste like the drink again,
Hmm.
and it made me really upset. So hopefully they fix that, but I am not gonna buy it to find out again.
And then I drank the was it the guava caipirinha from
Hmm.
Brazil, which is actually pretty salty itself.
Yeah,
But because I had just drank the Paloma before, that didn't taste salty to me at all. That was
yeah,
like drinking straight juice. I
that's
was just so
fair.
happy I wasn't having the Paloma again.
We had the mango one, which was also very good, but it was
The
very
mango
sweet.
one's better for
Oh,
sure because I
yeah.
did try the guava one when my tongue was not tainted, and it was quite a bit salty.
What's up with the salty drinks this year?
Oh no! And that one is like actually salt. I think the one in the Paloma is like, is it like
Syrup.
salt bitters? What was it?
I thought it was a salt simple syrup.
Yes, simple
Which,
syrup is salt.
what? Ew. Like, simple syrups are just equal part like sugar and water. What do they do? Another equal part of salt? Like, fuck you.
Mm.
Get out of here. Nobody needs that. I don't understand. The one thing I will say is like even now I still stand on the blinky cups are not good. I don't like how they look, but they do be girthy.
They are the 20 ounce one. That's a
Large.
steal. That's the best
Yeah.
value they've
Oh.
had for souvenir cups, because it's the same price as souvenir cups have ever been,
Mhm.
but more. It's
But
great.
more. Live Moss, honestly, is what the blinky cup is saying.
If you're getting the baby souvenir, what are you doing?
They're so tiny. They
They look
look like
like
little
babies.
babies. Babies. But yeah, no, I just wish that they were cuter, especially when we talk about 2020. Those blinky cups killed it. There were four. It was just like 2019
Hmm.
HHN. And they were the 20 ounce. They were so nice. But I will say, do you think we'll get 20-ounce cups at HHN?
I always worry about the whole sense that they want to keep
I
people more
know.
sober, so maybe, I don't know.
But
I
now
don't
they
know.
have all these cups and they're clear. Remember, we got the same shape cup for like two HHNs and a Mardi Gras or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Duff, how much do you think the Lombard's bar is going to charge us for a drink in that cup?
I'm gonna get a double whiskey ginger for $12.
Yeah. Hey,
That's
maybe
what I'm
like 14.
foreseeing.
Hey, bring it back.
And also, to finish off Mardi Gras, won't go into much detail, but Goo Goo Dolls, that set list sucked. That is
We got
not how
held
you balance a
hostage.
set list, and I hate you so much.
Duff got held hostage. Jonathan, you were there too, right?
I was not, but
Oh, no.
it sounds like a fun time.
Oh,
I
good.
won't
We
go into
both
more
were.
detail, but no, no. Bad show, Goo Goo Dolls. Bad show.
Sorry. I'm so
I mean, the performance, like they're fine performers still, to be fair to them. Just the set lists.
I'm
Poorly
just
laid out.
glad that I-4 billboard is gone because if it looked at me one more time, no.
See you soon. Oh, we aren't going to see Willow now.
Oh no! When will we whip our hair?
I mean, we can still see Willow, I guess, but not for our 3-6
No.
live.
You want me to go 2 days in a row?
Yeah, you haven't done that before.
Shut the fuck up. Moving on.
I guess the last thing we'll chat about today, and unfortunately for us, it might be the last haunt we experience.
Stop
And I know you hate
saying
hearing
that.
this.
God!
Last haunt we
Never.
experience.
This is the last haunt we ever experience.
Oh my god, you're like the
That's-
kid on like before graduation who's like, for the last time.
Oh god.
Until haunt season, we went to Sir Henry's Haunted Trail Love's Revenge, which is their Valentine's Day event. And it was another pretty fun Sir Henry's seasonal haunt there.
A blast and a half.
Always a good time. And it was pretty busy. Good for you guys. Sir
Oh,
Henry's.
yeah.
We went, it was Friday and Saturday only. We went the Friday, and we got the earliest times, so it started out reasonable, and then by the time we were leaving, the lines were long. It was packed.
Oh yeah. It was crazy.
There was some slapping elote there.
Oh my god. Let's just talk about that now. Normally your options at Sir Henry's are sometimes a hot dog, maybe a corn dog, or a snow cone, which like they say limited food. But yeah, there was a elote, and oh my god, we found out they're gonna be back for the rest of the year for the next two events. So Go get some elote. They were fantastic. They were from South Florida, Gotta
Rep.
rep.
Literally my home too. So
Yeah, they came out of Duff's house. It was actually Duff's relatives.
what's up, Tio?
They killed it. But yeah, go get some elote. I'm gonna get 2 next time. Catch me during Halloween double fisting like elotes.
But anyways, to the actual event. Not that that wasn't the most important part of the event or anything, but the actual event. They did have 2 mazes, Cupid's Revenge, and help me with the other one.
Truth or dare?
Truth or Dare. Thank you. And to be honest, they were both like up there for
Pretty solid, yeah.
like some of the best Sir Henry's trails I've seen.
Yeah.
I completely
Definitely.
agree. Do we want to talk about each one individually,
Yeah,
or
let's do it.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start, Jonathan?
let's start where we started? And the first one we went through was Cupid's Revenge, and I thought this one was very fun. It had some comedy elements to it. I thought all the actors were great. I always loved that trail in general. My first time seeing the renovations to the trail was Christmas of last year, but it's such a good trail. It's so long. It has lots of moving parts to it. You go outside, you go inside, then you're outside again, then you're inside again, seeing things from different points of view, scenes that you walked in already. It's just the trail itself is really cool. I thought the story that the trail had was fun, involving Cupid and his arrows and making people fall in love. They did a twist on that I thought was real. Just a really fun time. Had lots of good scares. This was the trail that had one of the sliders that slides and sparks are left behind them, which is always a really cool effect. And it even had a comedic moment at the end where people are interacting with you and sort of
Gary.
yeah, they're involving you.
Jonathan, you don't lie to them. You were Gary, and we found out that you were the one that the woman was cheating on her husband with
Homewrecker.
in divorce court. Jonathan, first of all, we didn't know your real name was Gary.
Yeah, I hid that from everyone.
Wow. I feel like I don't even know you.
I can't believe you figured it out. It's
Do you
crazy.
even like Powerade?
Actually, you know what? I'm a vitamin water guy.
Oh god,
Oh,
everything's
my
he doesn't
life's a
like
lie.
Killer Clowns. He doesn't like Texas Chainsaw.
This man loves The Haunting of Hill House.
The Hill Hoose. Uh, but no, that was really funny. You walked through court and there was a couple screaming at each other on either side of you.
I keep forgetting that we can talk about spoilers now because the event's over.
It doesn't exist. Yeah.
Yep, done.
Yeah. Usually we try to hold back on that because it's before when the event's just starting. But yeah, like that whole scene involved you in the story in a way, and was also a really comedic moment. I'd say out of both, this was uh, the more comedic house, which I always during Christmas was the first year that I really noticed them have a comedy house of sorts with the with the Santa and the Mrs. Claus fighting and having and the whole thing was about the elves retaliating. But I think Cupid was a good mixture of comedy and horror this year as well, and I hope they continue to do comedy houses in the future because I really like them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that had a similar tone as we saw just this past Christmas season in that same location. I think,
Mm.
obviously the way the trail's laid out, there are good scare moments, but also they lean into the comedy a lot. And you get a few like super personal interactions, and the directors did a great job being comedic
Yeah.
and doing really good improv.
Yeah. They all had their little stories and they were screaming about something that broke their heart. It was, whew, I really just love that trail. And like, I think I said it when we were there. They've built this village set that really is like a blank slate to so many stories that they can write for all of their events. That trail on the left, the like fully refurbished one that was headless during Halloween. So
Mm.
like good on them and investing their money in something like that. That is like, the marquee, trail for each one. But truth or dare.
Whew.
I had a date again with that fucking closet. God, gotta stop meeting each other like this.
You got to spend a lot of time in there too.
Jonathan, Jonathan and I were very close this weekend. Very close.
You mean Gary? Be careful,
Sorry,
Eugene.
Gary.
We know what Gary does.
Ooh. Oh no. What's funny is Eugene listens to every episode, so he's gonna come up to me in a couple days and just shake his head and go, Gary.
Oh God.
I can't wait for that.
So yeah, truth or dare. Another just like fun concept they pulled out for like I don't know how they consistently do it. It's really impressive that they pull out fun concepts for these seasonal events that they just push out a few months apart from each other, right?
Yeah.
And I think the scares were a bit toned back from what we saw during like Halloween season in this specific location, but the scares were still plentiful, and I feel like they portrayed the story pretty well as well.
Absolutely. I mean, that location itself is always good. I think it has some of the most interesting type of types of sets, and walking through the closet and going through a library and seeing all aspects of this mansion. I always just love that set in general. But I thought what was really cool about this particular version was that I feel like it had the most, or some of the most changed I've seen this set, and where they put graffiti over many sections of the mansion, and it lit up in the black light, so like it would glow when you're walking, when you're walking through the scene, which I thought was a really, really cool touch. I know we were sort of talking before about how the story was a little similar to Graveyard Games, and when I entered those scenes, while it wasn't exact, it did sort of feel like reminiscence of sections of Graveyard Games, and I really liked those scenes.
You really just felt like you're gonna run into Nid and Sansi anytime.
Nid and Sansi.
Nid and Sansi.
I didn't think about it like that. It really was just kind of like a light Graveyard Games for those of us who miss it. No, but I see what you mean. Like the graffiti was probably my favorite part, but also because like the sets in there, I think that they were still gray because I think it was like a black and white house definitely for Halloween, right? Or am I making that up? Wasn't that for Halloween? It was like black and white in there.
I believe you're correct.
So I think that like made it a really good blank slate for all of this graffiti, because I know that most of it was black and white. I'm almost positive because you went through the movie screen.
No, I know. I'm pretty sure it was Halloween that was the case.
Okay. We've been to Sir Henry's so much that like
it's every few months we're there at this point, so
it gets jumbled, especially because they're in the same like settings and they change them. But the black lights were pointing in ways that like I was being blinded and I could only see like the really bright things. So people in like the dark corners, I was not noticing them and I was getting wrecked. So they were really using the lighting to that advantage as well. And like I feel like the scare actors learn their environment quick, especially for something that was only going on for 2 nights.
Mm-hmm. And they didn't get like a media night or anything to get like the full-on rehearsal,
Yeah.
So that's really impressive.
Yeah,
it also had
early.
It had a lot of dark comedy too in there. I think one of the actors playing the old lady with the knife, like was really good at improv. Like sort of because we were stuck a little bit in this house. Just due to crowd flow and how things were moving. So a lot of the times the actors would sort of, when you were stopped, interact with you. And there was another moment that was definitely dark. Like it was disgusting and definitely more.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Where basically there was just, I think it was the husband of the killer, of one of the killers. And he's just sitting, you're in a bathroom, he's sitting on a toilet, and he's not trying to scare you or anything, he's just groaning because he's taking a shit, and it's disgusting.
Reading a newspaper. Yeah, it was. We were next to him for a minute or so, and it was very unnerving.
We were
did not love that part.
Did not like it's funny in a way,
yeah,
but also nasty, and that's what I mean. That's a good element of horror houses, horror, just haunt houses. They are being able to make you uncomfortable is a very good thing, and it definitely succeeded at that.
Hmm. And
Oh,
another great thing about this location and the whole like event in particular is that they kind of give the scare actors freedom to roam even throughout the trails. But
hmm
in this location in particular, like they can follow you through so many rooms. Sometimes they'll be in one room, sometimes they'll be in another when you get there. Like they're just all over the place, but it never falls out of place, or it just always works and fits the story no matter where you meet up with them. And it can make for a terrifying experience when you expect one thing and that thing's not there. It's something completely different. Or
yeah.
when you're walking down a hallway and you turn around and the person you saw 3 rooms ago is just 2 inches behind you.
Oh yeah. Or there's a shark backpack in front of you and it goes in a hole and then a scare actor pops out a second later and it's not a shark anymore.
No, that too.
That happened. But yeah, no, that
Totally recurring example there.
that closet
Absolutely.
though, we're just gonna Jess's closet is a reoccurring segment in the Sir Henry's saga. But yeah, we got, like we said, a little stuck in some of the rooms the first time we went through the trail. And if you were wondering, the closet has not changed. It's just darker.
And
And
we spent probably 2 minutes in there
yeah, when
that
you're in
first
there for
run.
that long, I
Oof.
was like in Jonathan's ear at one point, like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry.
Gary, you dirty
I'm
dog.
sorry, Gary. And Eugene's behind me, like, I'm right here, and I'm like, I don't care. I just want to get out of here. Just get me out. But that's what it's supposed to do. It's a haunt. So good job, Sir Henry's.
We also did 2
Oh
escape
yeah,
rooms as well.
Of course we did.
we did. A little different than before when we did them for Christmas, and I still think they're fun.
Yeah. And we absolutely killed them. Both of them. Like,
Boom.
more than enough time left on the clock when we got out for both. We're
Oh,
pretty great.
oh you should definitely do escape rooms with us. We're pretty smart, you know. But yeah, Sir Henry's
And Elote.
and Elote. And of course, they had the swag shop and the walk around characters.
Mhm.
Cider available, all of the fun stuff. But I'm excited for the Halloween event. I wonder if they're going to change up what I would assume maybe the nautical trail, but they just plus that a bunch too. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it in longer than I'd care to admit. But I think, unless we got anything else to add, that's kind of what we got for this episode.
We already know 3 houses.
Look at that.
Well,
Well,
speculation knows. We're
yeah,
speculating, we know.
confidently, we know 3 houses. Well, we definitely know one, that's for sure. So,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we know Chucky.
but hey, if you wanna keep up with all that, obviously this podcast is a great place. But we do have social media. That's Twitter and Instagram at HHN365 and on TikTok at HHN365pod. And as more of these clues from Legacy come in, join us on our Discord, discuss them, break them down. Let's figure them out together. Everyone on our Discord server did a great job this time. So come in and join that fun and just chat about HHN in general as well. Check out our merch line at hhn365.com and join us here on the show by leaving us a voicemail at 407 906 4134. And that's all for today. So until next time, we'll see you in the streets.